Hi everyone! Our project is called Family Support Communication, and our group members are Sara Govin, Ellie Gephart, Khang, and Wahua Moua. We designed one cohesive campaign to make local family support information easier to locate, understand, and act on. The campaign combines printed resource guides, direct conversations in a trusted childcare setting, optional digital follow through a QR code and link tree, and family feedback. The central idea is simple. Families shouldn't have to master a new platform or search through many disconnected websites before they can take a first step towards support. The social justice issue we identified is unequal access to clear, trusted, and usable information about family resources. Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley have many helpful programs, but the existence of services doesn't automatically create equal access. Information is often scattered across agencies and websites. Families may be uncertain about eligibility, unsure which organization to contact, or uncomfortable asking for help. That search burden can be especially difficult for caregivers who are already managing work, transportation, childcare, financial stress, or concerns about a child's development. Our original social media plan also raised access concerns. Digital outreach is convenient, but it may miss families who don't follow the right pages, have limited time online, or feel more comfortable asking questions in person. We therefore treated accessibility as more than a readable design. It also meant choosing a communication channel that fits the intended audience. Our primary audience is families with children from birth through age 5 in Eau Claire and the surrounding Chippewa Valley. Our first campaign goal is to build knowledge while reducing stigma. We want families to view help seeking as responsible rather than evidence that they are failing. The second goal is to encourage one practical next step. The campaign reduces the distance between recognizing a concern and doing something manageable about it. Our call to action is to identify one need, choose one trusted starting point, and take one next step. That step might be saving a flyer, calling a program, scanning the QR code, or asking a child care provider for more information. The project significantly changed between proposal and implementation. Our original plan centered on mock Instagram and Facebook posts supported by a family resource guide. During peer critique, classmates questioned whether a digital-first campaign was the best fit for the families we hope to reach. Their feedback introduced information that was not fully represented in our original discussion. This connects to shared information bias, which occurs when groups focus on information already held in common and overlook the perspectives that are less visible. Taking the critique seriously helped us reconsider the communication channel instead of simply defending our first idea. It also helped us to avoid groupthink. Rather than treating agreement as more important than evaluation, we invited questions and revised the plan. I contacted Professor Schultz, and she approved a printed outreach through my mother's child care center and other appropriate community settings. The final campaign included 3 printed resource guides, direct sharing, optional QR code and link tree access, and family feedback. The purpose remained consistent, but the implementation became more accessible and better aligned with our audience.
Our first course concept is social capital from Chapter 1. Social capital refers to resources and support that become available through relationships and social networks. Sarah's connection to her mother's child care center was not simply a convenient location. It created access to a trusted network of caregivers, provided permission to distribute the materials, and made brief conversations and follow up possible. The child care center connected the group to families, and the flyers connected families to community services. This concept directly influenced implementation. Instead of expecting a social media algorithm to reach the right audience, our group used an existing relationship to place reliable information in a setting where trust had already been developed. Social capital reduced the distance between receiving information and feeling comfortable enough to act on it. Our second course concept is Tuckman's model of group development from Chapter 5. This model explains how groups move through 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Our group began in the forming stage when we created original social media campaign idea. We entered the storming stage when our classmates questioned whether social media would actually reach the families who needed the information. This did not involve arguing. It was productive disagreement about how to improve the project. During norming, we agreed to change the plan, clarify everyone's responsibilities, and create one connected campaign using printed and digital materials. During performing, we created the flyers, organized the QR code and link tree, distributed the materials, and prepared this presentation. The final stage is adjourning, when we evaluate the results and reflect on what we learned. Tuckman's model helped us understand that changing our original idea was not a failure. It was a normal part of working together and ultimately improved our campaign. Our third concept is task and relationship roles from Chapter 6. Task roles are behaviors that help a group complete its work. In our group, these included researching programs, writing and designing materials, verifying information, organizing slides, tracking deadlines, and coordinating distribution. Relationship roles help members stay connected and work well together. We used these roles by inviting input, sharing updates, remaining open to feedback, and adjusting responsibilities when schedules changed. Both types of roles were important. Task roles made it clear who was responsible for each part of the project, while relationship roles helped the group remain cooperative during a late change interaction. We also developed group norms about sharing updates, completing work, and maintaining shared ownership of the campaign. In other words, we divided the labor without dividing the campaign. Every responsibility supported the same audience, goals, message, and final presentation. The final campaign uses 4 connected methods rather than 4 separate projects. Printed flyers provide clear local starting points. Direct outreach adds a trusted person and acts as an opportunity for questions. The QR code and link tree offer additional digital follow through without making social media the primary method. Family feedback helps the group evaluate, reach, and identify improvements. This structure reflects interdependence because no single component accomplishes the full purpose by itself. The flyers create awareness. Direct contact supports trust. The digital option extends access, and feedback supports learning. Together, these components move families through simple sequence from awareness to access to conversation and finally action. Cal will now demonstrate 3 materials and explain how they were implemented.
For our first campaign material is a resource and support guide for young children and their families. Its purpose is to reduce search burden by organizing several trusted starting points on one page. The guide includes early intervention, developmental supports for ages 3 through 5, autism evaluations and services, therapy, Head Start, counting programs, and parent navigation resources. Those contact information is printed directly on the guide so families do not have to conduct another search before acting. The categories and color coding makes the material easier to scan. This support communication competence because the message is accurate, appropriate for the audience, and usable in situation where it is received. For our second guide, it focuses on free and low-cost family activities from children from birth through age 5. Family support is broader than crisis assistance. Story time, playgrounds, park, splash pads, museum, and natural spaces can strengthen connection, belonging, and child development. The guide makes costs visible by labeling activities as free, low cost, or discounted, which help families make realistic decisions. This resource also reflects inclusion. It offers options with different location, activity types, and costs instead of assuming one kind of recreation will work for every family. The goal is to make communication participation feel practical than out of reach. And for our third guide, it combines immediate support with common family needs. It includes crisis and mental health contexts, food assistance, WIC, health coverage, childcare assistance, diaper, housing, utilities, and safety resources. The organization allows caregiver to scan quickly for a relevant category. At the same time, the strength-based closing message helps normalize support by reminding family that asking for help is a strength. The group also considered ethical communication. The flyers does not diagnose anyone, guarantee eligibility, or promise that a program will have openings. It provides verified places to begin and remind families to confirm current details. This balance keeps the campaign helpful without overstating the group or list programs can provide. Now, for our primary implementation site was 123 Legemi Learning. The materials were used at July 22nd Family and Community Night and remained available from July 22nd through July 24th, with additional outreach during normal family contacts with afternoon pickups. Families could take visible printed copies, ask brief questions, and receive guidance about which sheet might be most relevant. This family resource table approach allows information sharing to become a conversation rather than a passive post. The QR code and link tree were included as optional follow-throughs, so families could return to the information digitally. Other possible locations include a Menards distribution setting and a home care setting were discussed, but those sites depended on permission and confirmation, so we did not count them as completed implementation unless distributions was actually documented. This distinction is important for accurate evaluation. The childcare center and community night are confirmed settings. That clarity also reduced process conflict by giving the group a shared understanding of what could honestly be reported. Wahua will now explain our roles, outcomes, and reflection.
So in our group, there were clear roles that helped us coordinate this campaign. Sara led the content, childcare outreach, distribution, and feedback tracking. Ellie supported the visual design, QR codes, and link tree. Khang verified resources, links, and citations, while I supported research, group updates, and presentation organization. This role differentiation helped accommodate our different schedules and reduce process conflict over responsibilities. However, we still shared responsibility for final decisions, proofreading, presenting, and reflecting on the campaign. To evaluate our campaign, we looked beyond the numbers of flyers distributed and considered 3 areas: reach, response, and learning. For reach, approximately 40 families took materials home during the July 22nd community night. We also placed flyers on at least 100 vehicles and handed additional copies directly to individuals. Altogether, this created more than 140 distribution opportunities. However, we do not describe that as 140 unique families, because some contacts may have overlapped, and we cannot confirm that every flyer placed on the vehicle was read. For response, several people noticed the materials during distribution and started brief conversations with us. Families were willing to take resources home, ask questions, and learn about the types of support available. The community night produced our strongest confirmed engagement because it combined useful information with direct interaction in a familiar setting. For learning, we found that in-person outreach helped build conversation and trust. Vehicle distribution can expand visibility, but its impact is more difficult to measure. In the future, we could strengthen our evaluation by using a distribution log, a brief anonymous survey, or a QR code analytics. The campaign's strongest feature was its local information, trusted setting, flexibility, and clear individual ownership. The late revision was also a challenge. Members had different schedules, potential outreach settings required permission, and resource details had to remain current. Small group communication influenced the outcome in several ways. Constructive feedback changed the communication channel. Task roles supported completion. Relationship roles preserved cohesion. Clear norms and responsibilities helped the group recover from a delayed revision and continue towards one shared goal. The input process output model provides another way to understand the project. Our inputs included 4 members with different skills, course knowledge, local resources, and access to a childcare setting. Our processes include research, feedback, decision-making, role division, design, and coordination. Our outputs included 3 resource guides, direct outreach, optional digital access, and information about how families responded. Our central lesson is that the clearest path to support often begins with one trusted connection. The campaign did not ask families to learn a new platform or complete a long process. It combined local information, a familiar setting, and a coordinated group process to make help easier to approach. The project also showed that effective groups do not succeed by avoiding questions. They succeed by using feedback, managing tasks and process concerns, and adapting while protecting a shared purpose. Our final call to action is simple. Identify one need, share one resource, and make one connection. Every child and every family deserves a clear path to support. Thank you.